Hello, I'm Trent, aka oTradeMark here, and we actually got our Leader 3 Daireb out of the Limit Break machine. So we're gonna go max his talents out right now, and then we're going to roll a second passive on him. So we've had a lot of fun rolling for Dairebs in the past. Now I'm actually gonna bump this up just to actually, we're just going to take it to 0, so we have no negative move speed. And then depending on which passives we get, we might bump that up just a tad bit more, but that will save us a little bit on fruit. And let's head into the time chamber and roll for his passive. Now, a lot of people have actually been asking me lately if they should roll off of Leader 3 when they get it on one of their primary fighters. And the thing is, the short answer is no, okay? You actually don't want to roll off of Leader 3, and there's several reasons for it, but the primary reason is because assuming that you have, you know, a full team of relatively equal strength fighters, Leader 3 is going to actually give you more benefit than a pure DPS passive. Something like Ace, Tac 3, Blessing. I've done a lot of testing on this, and your first basically about 4 Tac 3s, which are on your primary team, especially if they're like double Leader 3 units, are super valuable, and they give you tons. Basically, they give you more DPS for your overall team than just a pure damage passive. Now, that being said, if you only have maybe like 3 fighters which are strong, okay, so 3 limit broken max level fighters that are strong, those are your carry units, and everything else is, you know, so-so, well, then you would probably, your team damage would probably benefit more from a DPS passive, but I still wouldn't roll off of Leader 3, because in the long run, all of your current best fighters are just going to end up being utility units in the future. So you basically sacrifice just a teeny bit of damage now for long term, for a lot of damage in the future, and so I would not roll off of it. And I don't know if I explained very well what you should be running. If you have about 3 primary damage units, your other 2 to 5 or whatever fighters, depending on how many equip slots you have, should all be Leader 3. Okay, every single one of them should be Leader 3. Again, if you had 3 really strong max level units, and then you had like 5 that were around level 300, or there were several, you know, they weren't near max level, even if they're good units, you know, even if they're limit broken, without being max level, without being limit broken, without being max talents, they're just going to drag your team down, and your team will benefit more from just boosting the damage of your primary 3 fighters. So the way to think of it is that Leader 3 as a supplementary unit will be most beneficial if you have most of your damage coming from only, you know, a few sources of damage. A few fighters are providing the majority of your damage, then Leader 3 on the rest of your units they're going to provide more value. That being said, Leader 3 on one of your primary fighters is still okay, especially if you have a lot of max level units. And so like for my team as an example, I have all limit broken max level divines and 1 secret, right? I can keep Leader 3 on Daireb because even though it's not boosting his damage a ton, it's boosting my overall damage. And because I have so many strong units, he is boosting my team damage more than if I had gotten something like Ace or Tac 3 or, you know, Blessing, etc, etc. Okay. Now, if I do happen to roll something insane like a monster here, in that situation, then yes, I probably would roll off of leader 3, but I would test my damage first just to make sure, because it still might even without, you know, getting a second supplementary passive on it, it still might be worth it. So essentially what we're looking for here as a supplementary passive to leader 3 is anything good, anything that would be good solo, like Ace, leader 3, blessing, tag 3, anything that would be good solo is going to be fine complementing leader 3. And then because Daireb has a lot of base damage, so he's gonna deal a lot of damage even though his first passive is leader 3. But in the long run, once Daireb becomes outdated, then I will want to re-roll whatever I get here and turn it into, so there you go. So I got tag 3, which I'm going to keep. In the long run, I will end up re-rolling that tag 3 to like a leader 2 or a leader 1 or something, ideally a leader 3, because having 2 leader 3s on one unit is one of the best passive combos that you can get. It will forever be extremely valuable. So we do have, you know, a pretty solid unit here, and let's just go ahead and test this unit. I am kind of curious how he tests DPS wise, and I will show you how he ranks compared to my other units here. So as you can see, this limitless Daireb with leader 3 tag 3 here, he's actually 6th, 7th, 8th. He's the 9th strongest unit on my team. Okay, so I just want to remind everyone that my top 8 DPS fighters dealt 1.34Z DPS as a team, okay? Swapping in Daireb with leader 3, even though Daireb does less DPS than the unit that it replaced, improved my DPS all the way up to 1.49Z. That's how valuable this extra 0.25x base damage multiplier actually means. It's extremely important. So going back to what I was saying earlier, don't roll off a leader 3 on your carry units. You want, you know, it's not ideal, but in the long run, you're gonna rather have leader 3 on a limit broken unit than you are, you know, than just rolling off it and going for something better. Okay, it's basically, even if I was to get something insane like Ace here, yes, my team probably would do slightly, well, it might not even do more damage with Ace, but it would certainly do more DPS. It would be one of my top units on my team with Ace tag 3, but the team DPS wouldn't increase that much, if at all. It might actually be lower. And in the long run, I'm gonna much rather have this leader 3 that I can then turn into like a leader 5 when the time comes for that, instead of rolling off a leader 3. So anyways, guys, hopefully that helps you guys understand what to do with leader 3 units on your team. As you know, as like the 4th through 8th, the best units on your team, just max as much leader 3 as you can, especially if your damage source is coming from only 1 to 4 fighters. If it lands on leader 3 lands on one of your carry units, it's still okay to utilize. Just get a limit broken second passive, which is a good damage passive, and then in the long run, turn that leader 3, once your unit is outdated, turn that leader 3 into like a leader 5 or 6 and roll off your damage passive into another leader supplementary passive. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Malo Alpito. Thanks for watching, and peace. I'm out of here.